Namaskar. Welcome to the lesson number 11 under chapter number 2, Analysis Methodology. In this lesson, I am going to explain you about the transit and its impact, and also the rules and method of analyzing the transit. Transit and its influence. In general, transit of planets are to be considered as supportive factors to the natal chart. This can be favorable or unfavorable. In case of horary, as you are aware, transit planets are playing important role in finding the timing of events, because that horary chart is exclusively for a particular event. So that transit of planets will be playing a significant role in finding the timing of event. Similarly, in the natal chart analysis also, transit of planets can be considered, but as only supportive factor, because destiny, dasa, bugdi significations are primary and the transit impact will be supportive only. It means what? In the natal chart, destiny is for a particular event, destiny is the, important source. Within the destiny only, the dasa, bhukti, antra significations will be giving its results. So once the dasa, bhukti significations, based on that only, the native will experience the significations, what is given by the dasa, bhukti during the period for the particular event. So dasa, bhukti, antra significations are primary, and the impact of the transit will be supportive. For example, when we are studying a planet, say dasa, bhukti, or antra, we are taking the dasa planets, star lord, sublord. When we are studying all levels, we are taking the support planets, the planets Rasi Lord, conjunct planet, aspected by planets. That way, the planets in supports are considered as supportive tools. They can increase or decrease the strength of the favorable or unfavorable signification of the planets, their star lord and sublord. The main ruler signification will be primary and supportive planets will be secondary. Similarly, here transit planets impact also will be secondary, as like a supportive to the dasa, bhukti, significations only. What is not signified by the dasa, bhukti, antra planet significations, mere transit will not give. That we have to keep it in mind. If anyone claims that only transit was the cause for an event, it implies that the analysis on the DBA planets was incomplete or not properly done. Some people would have seen that, we would have seen that, based on their method of analysis, they will feel that that planet, dasa, bhukti are not that favorable for the particular event. But because of the transit only, it is that event would have happened. So they will say that because of the transit only, that event occurred. Because their analysis methodology is incomplete, and they have not done properly done the analysis of the dasa, bhukti, antra planets. So transit can further support the significations of the DBA planets, either by increasing the favorable or unfavorable significations of the dasa, bhukti, antra planets. I hope you have understood what is the influence of the transit planets. Now let us see the impact of the transit planets. Suppose the dasa, bhukti, antra planets are showing mixed significations for an event. Dasa, bhukti, antra planets are having both favorable and unfavorable signification for a particular event. If the dasa, bhukti planets are in favorable transit to the event, that will further support to the event. Dasa Bukti are mixed. In that case, in the transit, Dasa Bukti planets are in favorable transit to the event, they will further support to that event. Instead, if the Dasa Bukti Antara planets are in unfavorable transit to that event, they will further cause obstacles, or they can give unfavorable results also. I hope you have understood. Suppose the Dasa Bukti planets are showing favorable significations for the event. It means Dasa Bukti are favorable for the event. If the GBA planets are in favorable transit to the event, they will further support to the event, right? They will increase the strength or significations, favorable signification for the particular event. If the DBA planets are in unfavorable transit to that event, they may cause some delay or obstacles, but will not give unfavorable results. Because Dasa Bukti is favorable. Transit only, DBA planets are in unfavorable transit to that event. Not all the planets. So definitely there could be some planets will be in favorable, but suppose DBA planets are not in a comfortable transit or not in favorable transit or in unfavorable transit, they may cause some delay or obstacles, but it will not give unfavorable results because DBA already favorable. Next one. Suppose the Dasa Bukti planets are showing unfavorable significations for the event. Dasa Bukti are unfavorable. If the DBA planets are in favorable transit to the event, they will help to some extent to the favorable side, because favorable is present in the transit, but DBA is unfavorable. So because of the favorable transit, the unfavorable signification of the DBA can get reduced, or the favorable transit can further support to some extent. It cannot make it more favorable because that DBA is unfavorable. In case if the DBA planets also in unfavorable transit to the event, they further increase the unfavorable signification and will cause more unfavorable result. In this case, both DBA planets and also transit all are unfavorable. So that way the impact of the unfavorable will be on the higher side. I hope you would have understood, right? Now let us go to the next one. The concept and method of analyzing the transit. There are many transit rules and principles followed in our Vedic system and Nadi system, and of course in our KP also. Vedic system, more than Vedic system, Nadi system has got a lot of rules and principles and on followed in the transit. They do have some value definitely, which are to be considered as well. But in addition to that, EPS system advocates some rules and methods in finding the transit of planets. The transit of planets are generally studied for two purposes. One is for timing of event and another one for the Dasa Bukti Antara predictions. First, in timing of event, at first we have to find the Dasa Bukti Antara periods who are favorable for the event as per the EPS standards. For example, for event has to happen, we are looking for in which period that event will happen. We have to first fix the Dasa Bukti periods which are favorable, combinedly can support for the event. We have to find that. So within this, we can find the time duration of the period for that event. Because within the Dasa Bukti Antara period, so which period duration is coming, within that period, we can find that. We can fix the particular period. Within 6 months, within 3 months, that period is supportive for the particular event. Within that favorable time duration, we have to check the favorable transit of the DBA planets, Sun, and importantly, Moon for the day and Lagna for the time. So we have to study importantly Dasa Bhuktī Antara planets. We have selected some Dasa Bhuktī Antara planets for an event, for the timing of event. Those planets transit we have to check, and the sun also can be taken, and importantly moon to fix the day or find the day for the timing of event, and lagna for the particular time. That is in timing of event. Suppose for the DBA prediction, so suppose somebody is coming and asking when running Dasa Bhuktī, how it is going to be for the particular event, or in general, how it is going to be. So they will be asking. So that is called DBA predictions. At first, we have to find the running or required DBA periods, or are favorable or unfavorable for the particular event. Whether the running period or some people will be asking, sir, next year how it is going to be. During that period, what are the required period, what are the DBAs running, whether they are all favorable or unfavorable for the event, we have to check. Now, second one is that during this period, we have to check if the transit of these planets, Dasa Bhuktī Antara planets, are further giving favorable supports or unfavorable supports to the DBA. By this, whether they are increasing or decreasing the favorable or unfavorable signification of the DBA planets periods. It means we have to check the DBA periods, favorable or unfavorable for the particular event, and during that period, what transit which transit, whether they are in the favorable transit or unfavorable transit. Based on that, they can either increase or decrease the DBA significations. So for the DBA predictions, we have to follow this way. For the timing of event, we have to follow this way. I hope you have understood. Now we have to see next important thing, that how to study the transit and their impact. How to study the transit. First, find the favorable key planets for an event in the natal chart. In the natal chart, we are going to study the planet, Dasa Bhuktī period, whether they are going to be favorable or unfavorable for the event, or when the timing of event is going to happen. For that also, we have to study that. So during that period, to study the transit, what we have to do, in the natal chart, we have to find the favorable key planets for an event in the natal chart. Next one, if the Dasa Lord, Bhuktī Lord, and Antara Lord themselves are among the favorable key planets, they become strong favorable key planets. I hope you have understood. Out of the 9 planets in the natal chart, which are the planets or favorable key planets for the particular event they are having? So that we have to take it. So in that, if Dasa Lord itself or Bhuktī Lord itself or Antara Lord is also directly they are coming on, under the favorable key planets, they become the strong favorable key planets. So we are giving importance to the key planets. Similarly, for the unfavorable key planets, we can also find the unfavorable key planets for the particular event in the natal chart. So let us focus on the favorable key planets first. Then according the same rule will applicable for the unfavorable also. Transit of Dasa Lord, Bhuktī Lord, Antara Lord, and Sukshma Lord. How has to be done? The study has to be done that Dasa Bhuktī Antara planets are transiting in which Rasi, that is sign or star or sub, who are favorable or unfavorable key planets in the natal chart. The study has to be done, Dasa period, Bhuktī Lord or Antara Lord or Sukshma Lord, whether they are transiting in, transiting in which Rasi, which sign, which star, which sub, who are favorable or unfavorable key planets in the natal chart. they have to combinedly support for better support. Who are combinedly Rasi, star, and sub. It is not that the Dasabhukthi Antara planets should be in the star of a good key planet. Not only that, Dasabhukthi planets in the Rasi of a favorable planet and star of a favorable planet and sub of a favorable planet. So then they will combinedly support for the event. Okay. Check the transit of Dasabhukthi Antara planets is how it has to be done. That's what I'm explaining here. Check the transit of the DBA planets is in the sign of a planet who can be directly a key planet, or that sign lord will be in the star of a key planet for the event in the natal chart. Here I'm talking about favorable key planet. For example, if you are taking, in the key planets of the natal chart, Jupiter and Mercury and Venus are the favorable key planets in the natal chart. So these are the important key planets in the natal chart. Definitely their role will be there in the Dasa Bhukthi Antara also. Now we have to check Dasa, Bhukthi and Antara. Suppose Dasa Lord is, for example, Dasa Lord, say for example, Saturn. Bhukthi Lord is Moon. And Antara Lord itself is Mercury, for example. Now Saturn planet, we are checking the DBA planet transit. Dasa planet Saturn is in the sign of a planet. Suppose Saturn is in the sign of Jupiter. So it can be in the sign of a planet which is the key planet. Already Jupiter is the key planet. It can be in the sign of the key planet, or that Rasi Lord in which Saturn is posted. Suppose Saturn is posted not in the sign of, say, Jupiter. Suppose it is in the sign of, for example, in the sign of, say, Mercury. Okay, Saturn is sign of Mercury. So Mercury also in the ruling planets. Sorry, in the key planets. Or suppose Saturn is in the sign of Moon. Saturn in the sign of Moon. Now, Moon is not the strong key planet, right? It is not there in the favorable key planet in the natal chart. Now, check the Moon in the natal chart, whether it is in the star of any of these key planets. Suppose in the natal chart, Moon in the star of Jupiter, or in the star of Mercury, or in the star of Venus. So that way, Saturn in the sign of Moon, that Moon is in the star of a key planet in the natal chart. I'm not saying that is in the birth, in the transit chart. I'm telling that Rasi Lord in which that Dasa period is running in transit, that Rasi Lord, that in the Rasi Lord of that Dasa Lord may be directly the key planet or in the star of the key planet in the natal chart. I hope you have understood. It means Dasa Lord will be directly in the sign of the key planet, or that sign lord will be in the star of the key planet. Next one, we have to check the Dasa Lord Saturn in the nakshatra of the planet, which is directly as a key planet, or in the star of the key planet. The same rule what I explained for the Rasi Lord, that applies for the star lord also. Suppose Saturn in the sign of Moon, in the star of Mercury, or in the star of Jupiter, directly it can be there, right? Or Saturn may be in the star of a planet, that star lord in the natal chart can be in the star of this key planet. So it means Saturn star lord also, Dasa planet star lord also will be directly as the key planet for the particular event in the natal chart or in the star of the planet, which is a key planet in the natal chart. I hope you have understood. So the same rule applicable for the Bugdi and Antara or Sukshma. So it means what? Dasa Bugdi, Antara, Sukshma planets, importantly DBA planets, they will be in the sign and star of a planet. They will be directly the key planets or they will be in the star of the key planet. In case of slow-moving planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, so normally the star lord will be there for a long period. So in that case, if the star lord is not in a good transit, as we discussed, look at the sublord if they are transiting in the favorable key planets. So in case of the slow-moving planets, we can check the sublord of the planet also. That's what I wanted to say that. Okay. In addition to that, if these DBA planets are conjoined with or aspected by the favorable key planets in the transit itself or in the natal chart, that will further add strength. I will tell you, suppose Jupiter is the dasa. Jupiter is the, for example, not Jupiter, I will discuss Saturn. Okay, Saturn is the dasa lord. Saturn is in the sign of, say, moon, as I said. Suppose in the star of Jupiter, right? Moon in the, suppose, moon sign lord in the star of Mercury. It means Saturn's sign lord moon in the star of Mercury, which is key planet, as we discussed in the example, and Saturn in the star of Jupiter, that is also directly a key planet. So now Saturn is transiting in a good key planet. So being, though it is a slow-moving planet, through the star lord itself is favorable. You can check the sublord also if it is required. Now the Saturn is, in addition to that, Saturn is conjoined with Jupiter or conjoined with Mercury or aspected by Jupiter, because that dasa lord itself, not only in transit but also in conjunction aspect also, it is connected to those key planets. It is adding furthermore supports. I hope you have understood. Normally, that can be found in the transit also. Transit Saturn may be aspected by transit Jupiter or natal Jupiter. Conjoined with Mercury, the good key planet, or that Saturn may be conjoined or may be transiting where Mercury is posted in the natal chart. So that way, the conjunction influence of the key planets over the dasa Bhukti Antara planets by way of conjunction or aspect also will add further more support. I'm not saying that this is important, this is the more important. I'm saying that they are all added advantages. I hope you have understood this one. If the dasa Bhukti Antara planets are with favorable transit, they will further support to the DBA planets' favorable significations that we already discussed. Instead, if they are with the unfavorable transit, by transiting on unfavorable key planets, they can give some obstacles or hurdles to the DBA period significations to the native. That also we discussed. Now, check the transit of the moon to know the favorable day for the particular event within the DBAS periods. The same transit also the same way only. Transit in the sign of star of which planet, they can be directly favorable key planet or the sign lord and star lord in the star of a favorable key planet in the natal chart. Okay. Check the transit of Lagna to know the favorable Muhurta or time for that event on that particular moon transit day. To make it a particular time duration, we can move the Lagna also. I hope you have understood. So transit, we have studied how the transit has to be checked. To make it, brief, check the key planets in the natal chart, and check the Dasabhuti Antara planets or moon in the transit if they are directly in the sign or star of these key planets in the transit, or the sign lord or star lord in the transit planet. Check in the natal chart, that in that natal chart, if it is in the star of a favorable key planets. When we are checking the sign lord and star lord in the transit, I'm telling that we have to check if they are not favorable key planets. You have to check the star of those Rasi Lord or star Lord if they are key planets, right? I'm saying that that star Lord and of that Rasi Lord or star Lord of the, I mean that star Lord of that Saturn, that Dasa Lord. I'm not telling to look at the transit. Transit also can be favorable, but I'm saying that look at the natal chart, this Rasi Lord moon in the star of the favorable key planet in the natal chart. Check the star lord of the Saturn, Jupiter in the transit, but check that star lord, you have to look at the natal chart. So that Jupiter in the star of a favorable key planet in the natal chart. I hope I would have, I would have given better explanations. I hope you would have understood. Yeah. I hope you would have understood what is the importance of transit, and how to study the transit, and what is the impact it can give to the DBA planets in the timing of event, and also the Sabukti Antra predictions. So transit is important, but transit is not mere important. It is going to be a supportive tool only to the Dasa Bugdi Antara periods. Suppose that native Dasa Bugdi periods, destinies are all favorable for a particular event, automatically the transit, whatever may be the transit, their sign lord, star lord significations will be favorable in the natal chart. So automatically it is going to be favorable only. So whatever may be the transit, it is not going to have much impact on the Dasa Bugdi predictions. When the natal chart is having some mixed significations, Dasa Bugdi are also having mixed significations for the particular event, the impact of the transit can be further add more favor, or it can add a more unfavorable or hurdles to the particular event. So that way, most of the charts will be like that only. So in that case, what we can do, check the Dasa Bugdi periods which are all favorable, then check the what transit, what is not there in the natal chart in the external from the from the current transit, whether that those periods planets are transiting in a favorable period in the favorable key planets in the natal chart, that will that can help to the natal chart or to the native for some sort of improvement or for betterment. Same thing can become unfavorable also, because the planet that running periods are having, as I said, as a mixed significator, then in the transit also it is adding more unfavorable. The transit planets are under the influence of the unfavorable key planets also in the transit. The unfavorable impact will be significantly increased by the transit. I hope you would have understood. Thank you.